Mom, Mom, what's the red me plug it and Mom, what's Mom, is Campbell winning? Please be brought. Please be. Please be at. Come on. We need to win. We need to win.
He's the mayor of the capital city of the state. Progressive, liked by many people.
Come on. We need to win.
Did not run as a selfish candidate.
We need Georgia fried chicken.
Blue America, there's only one America. Radical, left of center, progressive.
Come on. We need to win.
Dad, did you bring a drink?
Look what you're doing.
What's the bring up?
Might have told pollsters.
Here, bring the drink to the car.
No, I'm not bringing nothing.
Hey, will you guys stop yelling?
That's all right.
Can I go stop irritating?
Alright, I'm over it.
They're headed to be all Republican again. We always talk about Miami or Indianapolis or Boston or Dallas or Houston or El Paso. These are states
We'll win.
and rural voters.
All right, they're not going to be on the floor.
It looks like
Put it in on your home paper before I wash your hands.
Ted Cruz is still in it for something?
as the suburban areas
Wait,
Romney is still in it too?
House races
What the heck?
Wait. King Cruz?
states are moving increasingly.
King Cruz?
Ted Cruz.
Okay, Sanders.
All right, please leave
You know who
people alone.
Sanders is?
Stop.
Nah, you know who Sanders is? Bernie.
Yeah, man.
Bernie Sanders is still winning. Who's winning California? That's what I want to know. It doesn't say California.
Hey, can we just be closed, man? Don't close it. We close already? You ain't close it. They announced it when they close.
Pick up on what Cookie Roberts was saying about the Hispanic vote here. It is now 16.4% of the voting demographic here in the state of Florida and growing. But as Cookie mentioned, that is the demographic that is changing within the demographic, in large part due to the tens of thousands
Who's it for
of
me?
Puerto Ricans who have relocated here after Hurricane Maria. The estimates range
Ryan, is that you or me?
to 75,000. It still remained to be seen how they would ultimately vote and if they would come out and vote. Of course,
Totally, of course. My gosh. My gosh, it's close.
But I also wanted to mention this. We're getting some information from our decision desk. We talked about how the vote
Oh, so when you're jealous?
state
So when you're jealous?
and the governor too close to call. And at this point, it's looking like if that margin stays within 1%, then we couldn't make a projection on that. Also, remember, if the margin is a half a percentage point or less, there would be an automatic recount. Not sure if that's in fact going to be the case. But if there was any concern about early returns, you certainly wouldn't notice it here at the Gillum headquarters here at
Taya,
Florida A&M University. It's
Taya.
still a party-like atmosphere. And this is the exact crowd that Democrats were hoping to get out.
Inshallah.
Largely African-American voting bloc,
Well,
but also
well,
youth.
well.
The college vote, they have been
No, no
also
chance.
relevant in elections in the past, the major elections here. They were hoping, the Democrats, that they would turn out to vote. But I can't tell you enough how much this has gotten all those visits to Puerto Rico speaking in English and Spanish, how much that could have an
One day
impact
we ain't gonna know when I'm
growing Hispanic population.
Johnson, thanks very much. Before we go to break, let's check in on a couple of other Senate races that we're not ready to project yet. That's the state of Arizona right there.
Wait, Christine?
Martha McSally, they're in the state of...
No, not Martha.
And again, you know,
I don't like Republicans. I like.
what's going to happen. I don't think you can underestimate some of the
Trump.
things that have come out of Kristen Sinema in the past.
I
few
wish
weeks.
Trump wasn't our
About
president.
Arizona. She referred to Arizona as being the meth lab of democracy and Arizona in sort of a negative way. And it was the kind of thing that my brother called me about and a lot of my friends called me about. And I think the reminder that at one point in time, Kristen Sinema was a co-paid protester that sort of moderated way towards the middle ended up hurting her. She's a great campaigner. I would say a better campaigner than Martha McSally. But if Martha McSally wins, I think
Well, Obama, a red state.
Not ready to call that one, but we are ready to project this seat, House seat in the state of Illinois, where Sean Cass, the Democrat, has defeated Congressman Peter Roscoe, going through his 7th term there in the state of Illinois. This one had, the Democrats had their sight on this one for a long time with John Wall. Again, in the range of, they had to win it for 2020.
Wait.
And also another one of those moderate Republicans gone. Another sign we've seen many of them already tonight that moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats are leading Congress.
Take a break, we'll be right back.
Why is that Channel 7? Without MSNBC, Mike. Come to MSNBC, Sean. Look up. What are MSNBC number? Thing? Come on.
5, 6.
I got it.
Please stop.
Does Santa Claus himself need the most trusted battery this holiday season? Maybe not. Maybe he could trust any battery will do.
Yeah.
Maybe he could trust his teenager won't react like a teenager.
What are you doing?
Here is our projected so far map of the seats Republican control, though as we've been saying, it's the gray seats that are in question tonight that we will have answers on before the end of the evening.
So the total number of Senate seats held by the Republicans still to be determined, but the NBC News projection is that it will be status quo in the Senate, that the Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, will be the Senate president. But in the House, the new Speaker of the House, NBC News projections, will be Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is the most powerful woman in the history of American politics. She is the only woman to have ever served as Speaker of the House. She will now
Isn't she from Cali?
that role. Not only will Nancy Pelosi be Speaker, but this means that there will be Democratic chairs of every committee in the House with
Who's
everything
Nancy
that
Pelosi?
entails in terms of oversight and accountability.
Is that the vice president?
This new presidential administration.
What's the vice
Our
president?
friend Ari Melber has been doing some reporting in terms of what to expect now that the Democrats seem assured of control in the House. Ari.
That's right, Rachel. I've spoken to
They control the House, not Sean. Democrats.
Ways and Means
Really?
Committee.
No, Republicans.
The Democrats in the House. The Republicans Senate.
It says 50 to 39.
That's the Senate.
Because as you know and as we've reported, this is something that does not require the Senate. It does not require even a full House vote. Under federal law,
Huh, Mom, who's gonna be the 46th president?
Oh, shit.
tax returns. They believe that includes flatly the President of the United States. So this is coming to us now. We're seeing the
Yes.
ramifications of Democrats.
Democrats
on these
take the
committees who
House.
have this kind of power. This is Rep. Richard
Democrats.
Neal. This is the ranking member of the Ways and Means Committee.
I want
who would
Democrats.
become
You
chair
don't
if
have
all
Pelosi,
projection
Pelosi's
holds that
done.
are
They just said
basically
Nancy
Democrats
Pelosi.
taking over the House. Getting your hands on those Trump tax returns, as everyone knows, would be a big deal for the committee. It doesn't mean they would automatically become public, but it does mean that Democrats are coming out swinging tonight. They're not waiting. They're putting this marker down.
I hope it's Hillary
Reporting this for the
Clinton.
first time on MSNBC.
Hillary Clinton's
They
done
will
already.
request the return
She's
of this.
right.
Senior source tells me this is something that Pelosi is in.
Mitt Romney, look, Mitt Romney, he's still in the game, man. Mitt Romney is the slum.
You guys put it in order now.
All right.
I'm waiting for the drink.
Who left this down here?
That's the question. This is federal law, as you say, 266103, and it's important that it's not Donald Trump personally making this decision, but it is, as you say, the Trump administration through the IRS. The options are to say yes and hand them over, or to fight it. And I am told, again, by the sources on the Ways and Means Committee, that if it's a fight they want, it's a fight they'll pursue. Not to get out too into the weeds, Rachel, but what that would mean is, if the IRS under the Trump administration says no, then the House's move would be to try to take it to court. And you have a federal law that seems to say flatly they can request it. Then you have the courts adjudicate whether there's some reason legitimately for the IRS to say no.
So this is a declaration, as Laurie says, from a senior source with information about the plans of the Ways and Means Committee under what would be the new chairman, Richie Neal, congressman from Massachusetts. Ari,
No,
thank
you're
you.
not eating.
That's dramatic news.
It is
Cool, man.
indeed.
I'm hungry.
Hey,
I
don't
want
say
original.
that.
Is a former Democratic member of the House of Representatives.
I watched you on the news.
Should know already because she hours in these 2 shifts a day, sometimes maybe more on this. Welcome to you both. Congresswoman,
I want honey.
question about
Ooh,
style.
honey.
That's sweetie.
Should
Wait
some
there.
Democrat just
Come on.
say nothing of the
Come on.
inefficiency? We don't have these races done and dusted yet. This is a
Everyone's original
projection
food.
of House control
What's
where
it?
the Democrats
Let me get half of it.
by the Democratic
Yeah.
Party to
You
before
rip
the night is over.
You ready?
Start
Spoon
making
it. We didn't argue no spoon?
presidents.
Yeah.
Cookie, honey.
Hello?
I think that it's
The
really
what?
important for Democrats to begin to set
The spoon is in there.
Nah,
Yeah.
who's who?
for government.
The one broke my foot.
It's gonna mean
Who's who?
investigation.
Come on.
Oh, these are the chafers. Oh,
There's no money,
The
right?
other part of it is gonna be how
That's
do
the
we,
other
how
one.
do we do
Which
things
one's mine?
that
The one I
they
brought?
did before they voted on healthcare and the
You want
economy
one
and
too?
funding jobs and building
What's the other
roads
one?
and bridges where they don't damage their cars.
Yeah, I get
And
it.
I think that Democrats are gonna
Mom,
have to
Who's that
take it
for?
over there. Leave it
Leave
up.
it there, Mike. Sharon.
strategy, and if it looks
Well,
like
you
Will you
have
give one
just
piece?
investigating everything,
Then I yours?
it's a really bad look.
Huh?
Then I yours that?
And so
Okay,
I would
well,
urge them to
Why,
think about the
Sharon?
important
Who's this one
investigations
for? Orion.
and then to move on
Yeah,
from
she's saying
that
that because
to
they got the French fry.
legislating. And
Yeah.
even though it means that
Right there.
it may not go through the
Where's
Senate,
that, Mom?
and then
Right
make
there,
it
the ketchup.
to the White House, it begins to set the table
Yeah.
Right,
for
wait for the
2020
ketchup.
and
I don't know.
says
You don't
affirmative.
want to use the ketchup.
Are you certain Pelosi gets reelected by her caucus?
Robin Orion?
Absolutely.
Anybody
And
think
if
so?
I were
I
in
don't know.
Congress today, I'd vote for her because
Yeah.
one
I
thing
have
we
my,
don't
I'll have
want
lunch.
in
I
an
have
like this with
You got back to sit up back of the thing.
from the Mueller
You used to have
investigation is you don't want somebody who's
have a
not
cup?
seasoned, somebody who hasn't been in the fight. And I
It's on the
think
plate, drop.
Nancy Pelosi
Dad,
has
I don't have a stick on my
I don't think she
honey.
should be there forever.
Yeah,
Neither
okay,
do I
good.
think all the rest of the
You
leadership
gonna try
should
and
be
bed
there
today?
forever. But this is a really important moment to have her, and I'd cast a vote for her.
But Brian, look at a lot of these Democrats who are
No.
new faces. They're young Democrats. You look at the Future Forum. This is sort of like the Problem Solvers Caucus within the Democratic Party, within
You
the
put them in
House.
one and
20 members in their 40s or younger. They endorsed 45 candidates. Already 7 have won. And these are
Right, no worries.
millennial-minded. And even though, yes, Nancy Pelosi, without a
What
doubt,
does
is
it?
the
I don't
woman
know
on
what to do.
top. When you look at the faces of these candidates who are winning, you are seeing the response coming from young people who are voting, saying, I'm tired of the status quo and I want something different. But it is stunning. Look at the people who are winning. We knew it was a record number of women running. Whether you're talking Michigan, Kansas, or a number of other states, it's extraordinary to see this.
Stephanie, can I just ask you from a financial perspective, because you are often the person who gives me advice on these things, to the extent that the president's tax returns are not just a prize, but are relevant to a potentially substantive investigation, as you were saying, Congresswoman, the Democrats shouldn't be out there saying, we're going to go get everything we can. They should be targeted and deliberate in what they're going after. If Congressman Neal, as chair of Ways and Means, decides to get the president's tax returns, decides to fight that fight, what investigations, what potentially substantive matters are they relevant to? Obviously, there's the issue that, we used to have a norm that candidates disclose their taxes. He didn't. That's one thing. But what they find in his taxes that would be relevant to real oversight?
So if we're actually looking at what the president is doing, especially as what Robert Mueller is looking into, the president loves to say, I never invested in Russia. No one thought you did. The question was always, are you financed by Russian oligarchs?
Russia invest in you. Yeah.
President Trump never had any U.S. bank finance him. And so you've got to ask the question, well, who's putting that money up? So if we saw his taxes, we would know something like that. But to your exact point, Democrats have to be strategic. As they're calling for it right now, they're putting on a show because they certainly want to see it. But you know from the New York Times reporting, they reported extensively what they could for a year and a half. We could find out he's just extraordinarily cheap, fantastic at abusing loopholes, which is far beneath what our moral leaders should do. But Donald Trump will turn around and say, well, that's what makes me clever.
Does anyone here not think his tax returns have been on Robert Mueller's desk for 9 months?
I for certain believe that Robert Mueller already has the tax returns. And so then the question for Democrats is, what is it that they could explore with those tax returns that goes above and beyond, maybe related even to emoluments, for example, which might be a relevant inquiry. But I think Democrats need to be very, very strategic about what it is that they decide to investigate in this time, because I'll tell you, the president, I mean, you can say what you want about him, but he will exploit that to the hilt. And I don't think the Democrats can afford that. It's a short window between now and 2020.
Just briefly, some business of tonight. we've divided up these twin Mississippi Senate races into something arbitrary. Mississippi 1, Mississippi 2. This is the latter. As predicted here, as we've been discussing, neither candidate reached 50% in a three-way race.
Hey, watch your mouth.
Kind of fixing it on the American calendar.
Trouble, Mariah.
5 days after Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So
Now,
there you have it.
when we were talking about this earlier, there was the prospect, had Beto O'Rourke beaten Ted Cruz in Texas, that this Mississippi Senate race might have been determinative in terms of who controlled the U.S. Senate. Now that appears they do not have that weight on their shoulders for that runoff, and that will change the character of it. My guess people have a real a hard road to hoe in Mississippi. Now that the other Republican candidate who drained 20% or whatever it was of the vote won't be in that race, and it'll just be head-to-head with Cindy Hyde-Smith. But this election, for what it's worth, won't technically be over until much deeper into this month. In terms of the oversight stuff that's about to happen in Congress, Congresswoman Edwards, I wanted to ask you, just looking at these chairmen that we're about to get, Adam Schiff in Intelligence, Maxine Waters, Financial Services, Richie Neal in Ways and Means, Jerry Nadler in Judiciary, all the other chairs that we're about to see. Do you feel like the Democrats have a good team on the bench ready to get in there? Do you feel like those chairs are just the product of seniority, or do you feel like this is a group that the Democrats should have confidence in? Should they go through the kind of process Republicans went through where they turf their seniors out?
Look, if you look at, for example, take Elijah Cummings or Adam Schiff, either the two of them, if Nancy Pelosi weren't in the picture, could be the Speaker of the House. These are really, they're talented, they're smart, they're strategic, and the same with the other chairs. And so I think these chairs are going to have to come together, and they need to make a decision about who gets to investigate what. And you can imagine the Oversight and Government Reform Committee is very expansive. And so they could do a lot of the legwork on a range of these different issues, and then leave the other committees to do their committee work.
Have I just been snowed by Congressman Cummings into thinking that he's really, really good at what he
No,
does?
he's smart, he's talented, he's really good, and not just because he's from Maryland.
That's fair enough.
We have 6 minutes until the top of the hour. Where would we? We're going to go to California, which closes in 6 minutes. Sorry, I thought that was at the top of the hour. Jacob Soboroff is standing by to talk to us in California, in Santa Ana, to be specific. Look at that line behind you, Jacob.
Look, one more people, Michael.
Yeah,
Michael, what that?
We've called the House. I don't know if these people know that we've called the House. I don't know if they care that we have called the House. This line is still 3 hours long. Like you said, we're 6 minutes away from the polls closing here in Santa Ana. We showed up in Santa Ana and at the headquarters of the Orange County Registrar, where I spent a lot of time talking to Rachel from last night, because 4 congressional districts are located here in Orange County, and those 4 congressional districts are on that list that Democrats are targeting to flip. When we talk about how far the House will go, how high that number will be driven up, this is the place to look. After 11 o'clock Eastern Time, in 4 minutes from now, we've got the 39th Congressional District of California, the 45th, the 48th, and the 49th, and all of those are teetering on the edge. I've talked to people from each and every one of those districts here. The reason they can all vote at this location is it's called a vote center, and it's a centralized location where this registrar is responsible for the 1.6 million people that all vote in Orange County. And I can tell you, from spending a lot of time on the ground out here, from going through all of these districts, talking to some of the Congress people, but also, frankly, to more of the voters, they were ready for change. We heard about all kinds of things, but particularly Donald Trump. And places like Newport Beach, California, Huntington Beach, where Dana Rohrabacher has been a long time.
I can't see.
Need the keys. It's over here.
I cannot see.
As President Trump has put it, they talked to me about the separation of the children down on the border, where I spent a lot of time earlier this year. They were unhappy with the way things were going, but they're also unhappy with the way things are going at home. And I think that is part of the reason that with 6 minutes to go until polls close, you got a 3-hour-long line to still get inside this Orange County Registrar's office, guys.
A very dramatic depiction of the situation in Santa Ana, California tonight.
We had thought that there was a good possibility that California was going to be the place that we were going to be watching, not just for hours tonight, but potentially for days or weeks. if that's what it came down to in terms of control of the House. As Jacob said, he doesn't know if the people there in line in Santa Ana know that the House has already been called. But at this point, it's a race for the margin. It's a race to see how big the Democratic majority is going to be. Chris Matthews, when you look at that being the sort of what we're waiting for tonight in terms of House races, how much of a difference does it make in terms of the governing mandate of the party and power in the House? How big a margin we've got?
Well, you need 218 to get anything done.
Yeah.
As Donna knows, 218 is the magic number. Every time a vote comes up, you need 218. So you've got holdouts. You might have moderate Democrats, conservative Democrats, a few of them, and they can hold out. We got another story here.
This is Dillon conceding in Florida.
Against me. I'm extremely proud that this evening the voters of the state of Florida decided to pass Amendment 4.
Right, stop spitting stuff.
Hey, you don't tell me what to do. I can
You don't
do
tell
it.
me what to do.
One step closer to getting us where it is that we need to
You know what happens to people like your answer?
Y'all,
That.
I want to encourage you not to give up.
Hey,
I
I'm
want to
recording
encourage
this.
you to stick to the fight.
And you guys are still blocking my way. Stop
Stop
blocking my way.
Next governor of the state of Florida. I still plan to be on the front lines right
I'm throwing
alongside
chicken at
every
you.
single
You
one
better
of
finish,
you
Conket.
when it comes to standing up for what it is that we believe in.
Ew, you're
As I
disgusting.
said all along the campaign trail, power sees nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. We still have to be willing to show up every single day and demand
Anybody
a
vote?
seat at the table. We gotta
Who's
be
ready
willing
to
A finger licking good.
Who's sitting? Who's sitting here?
to say that our voices still matter.
The president is
That we still have relevance. I still believe and I still trust the voters. We may not
Okay,
all show
Jack.
up in the way that we
Take a cup. You're not gonna waste my
thought
time.
and hoped that we would, but I still believe that there are still more of us who believe in what is common and what is decent and what is right. And I believe in the long run, good wins out over evil.
Right there, right
Many of you all along the trail heard me talk rather repeatedly about my grandmother. Someone pointed out that she was a real winner of the governor's race. My grandmother,
Mom, this is McDonald's
there.
cup.
You know what?
Put more in it. Pour it in it.
as I would
It's McDonald's
often show,
cup.
would have
I
to
need
get up so
it.
early in the morning and go off to work. They would load us up in the car and take us over to my grandmother's house where we would
It's a
sit
red
just a
cup.
little
It's a
bit
red
longer.
cup.
And my grandmother would often have a
Red cup.
ritual. It was a
Oh, you're
two-step ritual.
pouring it.
First things of that is that she
Give me that ice cream,
would
some
have
ice
olive oil,
Use more ice.
sometimes
That's
cooking
enough.
oil,
No, no, no.
We don't have no ice.
so she can get her
And then,
hands on
unless on the got a spoon or
and she
something.
would build a consequence.
Wait, you got your first
It
Christmas
was her way
present.
of sending us out into the day with a blessing that no harm would come our way.
Jamaica. Make it better. You gotta get back.
Yeah,
She
you
would
bring
say,
cup
"Boy,
of
go
that
to
cool.
school.
I just watched it.
Mind your teachers. Get your lesson." And when they bring that over,
Anyone else here?
You got.
she would say, "Bring it home."
It's American
You
Day.
know what I mean?
Right now, my favorite color is
Who
blue.
else want to do that?
It's American Day.
Who else want to do it?
Every single day, going to work on somebody else's job in order to put a roof over your head. And clothes on your back.
Oh, right.
You don't have no sauce?
I shared with you on the campaign trail.
Then you put a lot of
And no
sauce
one is
in
able
it.
to
Yeah.
communicate, but I wanted to learn that what she was
That's
saying
awesome.
Just
is that it wasn't just about me.
this. That's right, the sauce.
I'm
What is
reminded
it?
this evening that it is not
Oh, you talking about mild sauce?
that it's not about my wife, not
You didn't ask for
Christine,
it.
not
You got mad
Christine.
at Sean?
It's about all of us.
What?
It's about
Thanks for looking your stuff.
Hey, don't worry about her. She got cut track.
if we all do
Oh,
good,
go ahead.
we can all
Dad,
do
if
good.
you
Oh, that way he's
We
a
can do
T.
good.
T whatever.
T9.
That if we all put our oars in the water and row in
Scott
the same
Nelson?
direction, that we can all
Good night,
get
right,
further
sir.
than by ourselves.
Go get.
I still
Get
believe
mad
that to
sauce.
be true.
Dad, you got all the mild sauce over
In
there.
defeat, I believe that to be true. The
You want a
question
couple right
is,
here?
Come
we have
on.
a choice to
I
make
need
tomorrow.
the gill. I want Gilliam. I want Gilliam.
You don't have
I
no
want
more Taco
Gilliam.
Bell sauce?
I want Gilliam. I want Gilliam. I want Gilliam. I mean Gilliam.
We reassert ourselves to the mission at hand.
I know, but put the sauce
Don't
in.
get up
You
and
got the
do
real one that
things
said.
that we
Watch your back. Put the sauce on the
Look,
Yes,
I
that's
said
what I'm
before
saying.
that I believe that we have to have a table in this state still believe that we gotta have that table.
Yeah, look,
We're just gonna have to do a little bit more in order to build that table. We're gonna have to do a little bit more in
Yeah.
order to make our way to it. If there's not a chair there for us, let's pull up our own chair. Let's make sure
Our
that
work here a little bit. Here's what
I
just
don't like
happened. We
red
got alerted that
Republic.
Gillen was giving the speech. We're calling DeSantis the apparent winner in Florida, though this had not happened. We had not called the race before the speech started. And let us recap a couple of races here at the top of the hour, since we just passed into 11 p.m. Eastern Time. In California, we have a couple incumbents returning to the Senate. As we just mentioned, DeSantis, we are calling the apparent winner in Florida. California, the Senate race, Dianne Feinstein is going back to the U.S. Senate. In Hawaii, the Democrat Mazie Hirono is going back to the U.S. Senate. We talked about two races tonight in Minnesota. Tina Smith was the appointee going back to the U.S. Senate as a Democrat. In the state of Washington, too early to call. Remember these West Coast races, a lot of them just coming online for us. Steve Kornacki, we have not record kept as we look at Republican
Is that your thing?
control of the Senate.
The mama, the bucket,
Record kept
bucket.
a couple of House races and a couple of big names have fallen here in the last hour.
Yeah, let's go through what we've seen recently. Virginia's
I think but no, yeah,
Traffic. I just on it here.
Democrat, we are now declaring a winner over Dave Brat, the Republican incumbent, Richmond suburbs here. The bookends here, it was Brat, 2014, knocked off Eric Ford.
No, don't sit over there.
Why?
That's my seat.
But then you move over. It's my seat. You can't let it.
Yay.
What happened here? You spit that?
Don't ask me.
You spit from the chair.
Alright, every spit that we find, Ryan, every spit that we find, we take it away a plus from now on. Starting now.
No, that's a friend that can't come here.
No entry there.
I think she was poised to be the youngest woman ever elected to Congress, and then you had that big upset in Joe Crowley's district earlier this year. I think she will now become the second youngest woman ever elected to Congress. That a Democratic pickup as well. There's also, I can tell you about New Jersey's 2nd district here. Jeff Vandrew has declared victory, according to the Philadelphia Inquirer here. But Seth Grossman, this is an interesting story that is this close. Seth Grossman was disowned by the National Republican Party and denounced by the chairman of the New Jersey State Republican Party for racist and bigoted comments. The words there of the New Jersey Republican chairman. The fact that it's sitting at 50 to 48, and we haven't officially called it at this point, at this hour, is somewhat noteworthy. But if Vandrew does hang on in our projections, then that would be a Democratic pickup there as well. Also, just coming across the wire, the 7th district of Texas. This is Harris County, Houston, suburban. This another one of those. I can show you on the screen here. A Hillary Clinton district in 2016 flips to the Democrat. Lizzie Fletcher taking out John Culberson. You want to go way back in time, a half a century when the Republican Party was in its infancy in Texas. Where did it have one of its first big breakthroughs? It was in this district. And it was by a man named George H.W. Bush, who won a House seat here about 50 years ago. Seat's been Republican since then, no longer. Democrat Lizzie Fletcher takes that one over. And we have also, we said there were a couple of seats here that Republicans were targeting, that were Democratic seats that Republicans were targeting. One more Republicans have picked up. This is the 8th district of Minnesota. This is the Iron Range. This is an area that really swung hard to Donald Trump in 2016. Blue collar, traditionally Democratic, swung hard to Trump, open seat, Republican. A former hockey player there, Pete Stauber, wins it. So put this together. You got those 2 Republican gains so far in Democratic territory. Then you have 18
21, 22, so a
More
net
we should
Democratic
run for
gain at this hour
Senate,
of 20 seats. Of course, 23 officially gives them control. There's a whole bunch more where they seem to be on the verge of victory, so they're very close to crossing that line of 23, and then the question just becomes, how high are we counting in terms of majority?
Steve, can I just ask you an Iowa question? I see you've got another couple of Iowa districts up there that you don't yet have calls in. How is Steve King doing? I'm just wondering if he's going to be in a caucus with Mr. Grossman, if Mr. Grossman gets that race.
Yeah, there you go. 135,000 votes in here, about a third of the district. Let's see where this is coming in from. It is sort of scattered. I mean, this is a Trump plus 27 district here. So Steve King, this is the most conservative part of Iowa, sort of northwest Iowa right there. Steve King leading by 5,000 votes, about a third of the vote in right there. And also, one more while we're on Iowa, we could just check in on David Young. Look at this now, with almost 2/3 of the vote in. David Young, Republican incumbent here, trailing by 20,000 vote gap. So there is a scenario right here. 4 districts in Iowa. You got the Democrat surviving in the other one. Rod Blum goes down in 1. If David Young goes down in 3, and if Steve King, after this, survives in 4, after the chairman of the Republican Congressional Campaign Committee denounced him, he could be, if he survives, the only Republican coming back to Congress from Iowa, which might enhance his stature in a backward way.
And right now, the Iowa governor's race is too close to call at this point in terms of whether or not, in terms of statewide elected Iowa politicians as well. Do you have that? Yeah.
You can put that right up on the screen. Kim Reynolds.
Too early to call for
Kim Reynolds, of course, and she's the interim governor, trailing by about 25,000 votes right now in that governor's race.
Iowa, Kansas, these states are turning out to be absolutely fascinating tonight in terms of Democratic prospects. I do want to give us one additional call. I've been focusing on governor's races tonight, keeping an eye on those, and we do have a call in Oregon. Now, we think Oregon is a deep blue state, but there was question as to whether or not the Oregon governor, Kate Brown, would be able to win. That's not Kate Brown. That was a projection. And that in California, the governor will be Democrat Gavin Newsom. And thank you, Oregon governor, projected winner Kate Brown, the Democrat, who is the incumbent governor, facing actually a tough race in Oregon against Newt Buehler, who is the Republican. Oregon has quirky politics right now and has been through some gubernatorial scandals with the incumbent governor to Kate Brown, but sure will be tonight. And Gavin Newsom will now become a figure of national renown as the head of the Republic of California.
Our family has changed yet again here in the studio. Nicole Wallace, Donna Edwards, Steve Schmidt now join us. Nicole, your summation of what we've just witnessed thus far.
I think it's Democrats went into this night with such high expectations for themselves. Republicans, dare I say, are mostly numb inside. I mean, the Trump presidency, if you still have a conscience, it's not silly. And if you're all in with Trump, then this is probably better than what you were prepared for. I think Republicans focused on real emotional letdowns in Beto not getting across the finish line, feeling distraught about the results at this point in Florida and Georgia. But I think the bigger story, the story with more consequences, and we talked about this already. That the Democrats now control the House is really an earthquake, a political earthquake, an investigative earthquake, and the first time that Donald Trump as president will be accountable to anybody.
He'll have a check in his power for the first time.
I mean that is a huge story and a big deal. If you think that Donald Trump is what's broken, winning the state houses, winning some of those governor's races, doesn't fix it. But taking control of the House might.
Donna Edwards, same question.
Yeah, I think that for Democrats, we tried to actually temper our expectations because of 2016. I think tonight is proving to be a really good night. And, when I look at the potential governing majority, I see a majority that's actually going to be able to get some things done. And yes, a check on Donald Trump. A part of that check is doing things that the president just avoids. And so, I look at tonight and just say, you see a place like in Houston with Culbertson losing. Yeah. I mean, tonight, Republicans already have lost 3 chairmen. not just, you know, the rank and file members. They have lost 3 chairmen in Culbertson and Pete Sessions and Peter Roskam. That's part of their leadership core, and that's very damaging to them inside their caucus.
Steve Schmidt, does anyone grow courage within the Republican Party because the returning Congress will see a shift of power against this president?
Absolutely not. The Republican Party won't be chastened, it'll be emboldened. The Republicans that have lost, the lesson that will be taken from this election is they lost because they didn't embrace Trumpism fully. That had they engaged in the incitement tactics that will have worked in states like Ohio, where Mike DeWine was elected governor, in Florida, where Gillum went down, to DeSantis. That's the lesson. That's the takeaway from Republicans. But we shouldn't bury the lead here. And the lead is this. We know something right now that we didn't know this morning. And that is, come January, there's a check on Donald Trump. Democrats hold the subpoena power. The unchecked corruption is at its end. All of the Trump officials who have abused the taxpayer, who have serially lied to the country, they now will be held to account. I disagree with Donna that very much is going to get done. I think nothing will get done. Our politics is broken. It's paralyzed. There will be chaos. It will get worse. But Donald Trump will be much less able to abuse his power than he was for the last 2 years. That's the headline out of tonight. The other thing that comes out of tonight is this, is Donald Trump has stoked what I've called a cold civil war in this country. He's pitted the country regionally against each other. He's turned different races against each other, different religions against each other. And we see the battle lines and where they're being drawn. Trumpism was repudiated in suburban America, in urban America today. It was emboldened and validated in rural America today. And that's going to have enormous implications as we get ready for the presidential election.
I wonder if that invasion headed this way from the south will take on
Next
slightly
2 years,
less urgent
what them up,
standing with the
what them
results
president?
of the election. Steve Kornacki, I'm told we had another flip in the House.
Yeah, and this is we set this up earlier as a potential one. It's now official, and this is the surprise of the night, at least just in terms of where the expectations were. Nobody was talking coming into the night about the 5th district of Oklahoma, but Kendra Horn is her name. She is officially declared the winner here. This district, you go all the way back to 1975. There was a Democrat who represented this district who switched parties to the Republican Party. It has been in Republican hands ever since. Now Kendra Horn becomes the first Democrat to represent this district in more than 40 years. This is a district that Donald Trump won by 13 points. There are some issues in Oklahoma. Obviously, the Republican winning that governor's race tonight, but there have been some issues with the Republican Party in Oklahoma, having trouble in some local contests, some state legislators. That might have rubbed off here as well. Steve Russell was elected first in 2014. So this, the surprise of the night so far, but also you just look at the net gains, look, 11, 15, 18, 21, 22. This is the 23rd pickup now for Democrats. Now, they've lost 2, remember, so they're sitting there at 21 in terms of where is that official, where they're going to officially cross the line. There are a number of races, as we said, that could be called soon. The Democrats leading here in the 3rd district, for instance. How about this one? Leonard Lance, Republican incumbent. He's been there for 10 years in New Jersey. A lot of the vote counted now. New Jersey too. We've now New Jersey too. I mentioned this one minute ago. Seth Grossman denounced Donald Trump. They refused to support his candidacy. He refused to lead the race. He is going to win this one. It took until 70% of the vote was in to actually get this call made. It's a lot closer than I think there are a number. How about this one? The 1st district of Pennsylvania. Brian Fitzpatrick hanging on barely. This is a Clinton district. Here's the name Chris Collins running for re-election under indictment. He is leading right now, but that is still too close to call. And we have one more I did want to show you. This is another one of those Clinton districts with Jason Lewis, a Republican incumbent, trailing. But Lewis, of course, there was controversy during the campaign about comments he made. He was a radio talk show host before entering Congress, and all sorts of old comments he made surfaced during his campaign, putting him in some trouble there. Steve's re-election.
Just sneak in the 3 Jersey districts. No one will notice. I guess we got 2 more.
3 and 7. Okay,
Yeah,
Andy
but I
Kim.
governor.
Yeah, and look at this one. This is a real easy one to see with very few votes left here. If you just go, I said real easy, now I got to go all the way across the country.
sorry. See what we've done?
2 counties tell the story here. This is the Republican county, almost all the voters in. This is the more Democratic county, a little bit more to come. Is there enough in Burlington County to get Andrew Kim an extra 2,400 votes? Might be too much for him, but MacArthur in a fight for his political career right now.
And one more. Jersey 7?
Oh, Jersey, yes, this is Leonard
No,
Lance.
but I
Again,
still
he
have
is,
to
okay,
finish
he is falling short right now. With a little bit left to come in there.
Tom Malinowski will be, again, a national profile Democrat. He makes his way into the House as an Assistant Secretary of State in the Obama administration. He is eloquent. He's absolutely star material. If he beats Leonard Lance, that'll be the start of something for him.
And Lance was that endangered species, a moderate Republican out in the suburbs outside of New York City. Stabenow reelected. We have this much into us while we were having that conversation in Michigan, the returning Democrat. Another break for us. We'll have more when we come right back. Still more live vote returns coming in.
Michigan wins.
Yeah,
I watch
MSNBC midterm election coverage is sponsored by
Where are we again?
a new dragon tattoo story for win fears you'll ever know.
Yeah, white Maxine Warren. Yeah, he's the white Maxine Warren.
Coming up to you.
He won't talk to you again.
It's pretty good today, no?
Shows how we really feel. But does psoriasis ever get in the way? Embrace the chance of 100% clear skin with Taltz. It's the only treatment of its kind, offering people with moderate to severe psoriasis a chance of 100% clear skin. With Taltz, up to 90% of people saw a significant improvement in their psoriasis plaques.
Another one?
Use if
John
you
Sora?
are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, you should be checked for tuberculosis.
John
Taltz may
something?
increase risk of
Tetanus.
infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, symptoms, or received a vaccine or plan to. Inflammatory bowel disease can happen with Taltz, including worsening of symptoms. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Ready for a chance at 100% clear skin? Ask your doctor about Taltz.
The Mercedes-Benz Winter Event is back, and you won't want to stop for anything else.
No.
Lease the C300 Sports Sedan for $399 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz.
Wait a second. There's a glitch.
Introducing
You got you see that?
Bond Index
Look.
Fund. Expense ratios and comparable bands. And we're now offering zero expense ratio index funds. That's value you'll only find at Fidelity.
My ancestry DNA results revealed parts of me that I didn't even know. I find out that I'm 19% Native American, specifically from the Chihuahua people. What? I find that crazy. It traces their journey in the mid-1800s from central Mexico to Texas. Learning about the risks they took for a better life gives me so much respect and gratitude.
This holiday, give the gift that's connected millions to a deeper family story. Order your kit at Ancestry.com.
So who here is not satisfied with their Medicare plan? It's time to switch for good to Anthem. The premiums as low as $0. With a network of doctors and hospitals you trust. And switch because you can be confident that Anthem understands you. Join the thousands who choose Anthem every year. The $0 monthly premiums, affordable prescriptions, and the doctor's table. Switch for good to Anthem.
Call 888-246-1242 now.
You know that, Ramon? Vayan darme no la Batman. Sí, me le quedó anyway. Remember in December? Sí, me le quedó. Mira, the fight against Pelosi. Mira, Wisconsin. Mira, going to that. Mira, haciendo with the family. You don't see trouble with Trump in the phone next year. Sí, next year, we will have it. God, Trump no, and get what he wants.
MSNBC.
How do you even do that?
Derek was saying, he has to.
Wait.
Races we have not record kept on, and that is projected winner of the Ohio governor's race. John Kasich, of course, was not in the race. Mike DeWine and Tim Walz in Minnesota for governor. Georgia, all of you wondering, too early to call, early in terms of the counting of the vote.
Let's go right to Steve Kornacki.
The milestone moment here. We said Democrats need to get a net gain of 23. They lost those two earlier, but their 25th gain, which is a net gain of 23, just came in. It is the 2nd district of Minnesota. Jason Lewis, we were talking about him a minute ago. He has been unseated. We're projecting Angie Craig defeats Jason Lewis. And again, what that means, we have 25 Democratic pickups here on their target list. We look at the seats that Republicans were going after.
Oh, no.
Two, that one in the Iron Range, that one in Pennsylvania, 14. So right now, that gives the Democrats the net gain of 23. That's what they need to get control.
Amy Klobuchar was live on our air earlier this hour saying that the
You gotta win! Damn, if he's a winner, it's 46
Just learned Dave Wasserman, who's our expert on the House, says over 100 women have been elected to the House.
Chick-fil-A! No, not you getting it.
What the Democrats were working on, what they were trying to do, they have achieved. They have basically been flipping every one of the seats that they targeted to flip, and they picked up a few more along the way that they weren't necessarily expecting. This looks like there will be a Democratic flip of over 30 seats and a pickup of probably about 30 seats. There's 7 very likely flips for Democrats right now in California. That's without any surprises. Now, if there's a surprise or two, and there could be, then we need to have it. It's starting to look like by the end of the night, by the time we've counted what's happened in California, the Democrats will have flipped at least 30 seats and picked up possibly 30 thereabouts. Senators, the 22 Republican United States Senators who are running for election 2 years from now are all tonight looking at their states and saying, what does this mean to me? Pat Roberts running for election in Kansas, for example. What does it mean to me?
Here it is.
Ben Sass, Mitch McConnell, 76 years old, has to look at these results tonight, look at the loss of the House of Representatives, and will he look at it and see what Paul Ryan saw when he took over the speakership for these last 2 years? It seems pretty clear to me, a couple of months into Paul Ryan's run in this term of the speakership, that he was not going to run for election because it seemed pretty clear to Paul Ryan they were going to lose the House of Representatives. Is Mitch McConnell going to, in January, take a look at the way things are and decide he's not going to run for election? What does that do if there's an open seat in Kentucky? Mitch McConnell knows what it is to lose the power of the majority leader, and I don't believe if Mitch
I don't know,
McConnell
on the
thinks that
thing,
the
that's
Republicans
why I
will
want
lose
her
the Senate,
voting the
that he would want to
Kakiman,
sentence
no,
himself
man, lose.
to 6 years
That's
as
why
the
I said voting
possibly
versus
minority leader in the United States.
Lawrence, do you feel like you know what to expect from Nancy Pelosi now that she is going to ascend back to the speakership? She's obviously the only woman to have ever held that job, the highest ranking woman ever in American politics. She's been a boogeyman of the right and of the Republican Party forever. Thank you. That was a great movie, actually. Wasn't it?
No, it happened now.
She's now ascending back to the leadership. And there's a lot of how she's potentially in danger as a leader, and how she's this drag on her caucus. It seems clear to me that she was definitely going to be speaker, and that even if she allows, even if there's going to be some votes against her, that's fine. She's perfectly comfortable with it. She's got really thick skin. What do you think she's going to be like as speaker heading back up there, given that she's been there?
She has already said she doesn't expect to serve long as speaker, so she has joined this discussion of what happens next. But she definitely wants to be the next speaker. She will be. There's no question about that. But she may announce early on that she is not running for re-election, for example. The last time we saw a kind of orderly, voluntary release of the speakership really was Tip O'Neill, who Chris Matthews will remember. Tip O'Neill actually announced before his own personal last re-election campaign that it would be his last re-election campaign. He told voters this is the last time you will elect me to the House, which was in effect telling the House it's the last time that I'll be speaker. So he did that well in advance, far more in advance than anyone has since. Paul Ryan did it when the writing was on the wall, and there wasn't a chance to hold on. He knew, last year there wasn't a chance to hold on to this Republican margin House representative. So I expect Nancy Pelosi to be part of looking for who is next, who should be next, and I think people are quickly going to, when they start exploring that, they're going to quickly start to look at another Californian, Adam Schiff.
Lawrence O'Donnell, the night, as they say, is young. It is but a puppy. You're going to be there for a really important and interesting night in the state of California.
The night is even younger in California.
That's right. I'm on the next flight, if that were true. Thank you, my friend. We'll be checking back in with you. We have here on the set, we should not forget, a former chair of the Republican Party. I'm looking at you. You've got to look over here. There you go. You got to wear this. And here's my question, Mr. Chairman. Here's my question for Michael Steele. A serious question. If you were chairman today and you had your chief lieutenants in a staff meeting next Monday morning, what would you say? What would be your damage assessment and your call to arms?
Well, the first thing would be that the damage assessment, take a look at the field of play, find where we were the weakest, and then begin to understand exactly how the Democrats were successful. I had to do that in 2009. I walked in the door of Barack Obama's across the street, down the street, and winning with that big election. We just lost in 06 and 08. We were hemorrhaging leadership. We were hemorrhaging dollars. We were hemorrhaging, most importantly, grassroots activists. So you have to assess why you are where you are.
So Ryan, don't do that.
Fear, and Nicole knows this also well, is that we will not learn anything from this because Donald Trump won't allow them to learn anything from this. And by that I mean Republican leaders, Republican activists, the men and women who actually built the success that we found in 2010. We will not learn anything because the emphasis is still going to rotate around one personality and one idea. And the idea is not GOP. The idea is not Republican principles of value. The idea is, what does Donald Trump want? The only caution I would say to my friends across the aisle is, do not be so quick to start talking about hearings and subpoenas and tax returns. Because to do that, you are playing exactly into Donald Trump's hands. You are on page 1 of his playbook, which begins probably with a tweet in 3 hours.
And Mr. Chairman, the voters tonight are saying pre-existing conditions. They're not saying get his tax return.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think that's, again, you talk about what Republicans have to learn, what Democrats have to learn is understand why you won. Understand what brought you to this moment.
Isn't there a deal there?
All right, wait.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
You know who's a perfect person to talk to at this exact moment in the conversation would be?
Rachel.
if we could get Congressman Adam Schiff, who is the incoming chairman of the Intelligence Committee,
Put it back on the chart.
Hi, Congressman Adam Schiff of California. When we speak about him, sometimes he appears. Congressman, we're really, really happy to have you with us tonight. According to NBC News projections, you are on deck to be the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee as your party appears poised to take control of the House. What's your reaction to that news and to that big new responsibility that you've just been given?
Well, I'm very grateful to people all over the country, millions of people who've been really working day and night for 2 years to make this happen, to essentially retake the control in the direction of the country, to make sure that the Congress once again can play its role as a co-equal branch of government. So I feel enormously grateful for all of those that work so hard. And this is a big responsibility. Look, it's a big vote of confidence by the American people. And we're going to set a positive agenda going forward on just the issues that we're talking about. Making sure that people can afford their health care, that if they have pre-existing conditions, they can keep their health care, that we address the needs of so many Americans who, yes, are working, but not earning enough to get by. But we also intend to make sure that the oversight role that the Republicans so completely abdicated, we once again, the Congress once again undertakes and does so responsibly.
Congressman Devin Nunes is one of the Republicans who abdicated that oversight role in the Russia investigation. Your investigation, your committee's investigation, abruptly cut short. Greg Miller, who covers national security for the Washington Post, tweeted tonight that you, as the new chairman of the House Intel Committee, will bring back Trump Jr. You'll bring back perhaps Roger Stone or Paul Manafort, other witnesses. Do you have a list? Do you know what you're going to do as the chairman, and are you able to tell us who you want to bring back?
I'm not able to tell you that tonight. We're certainly going to look at the work that we were able to do. We're going to look at the work that the GOP obstructed on our committee, and it was really worse than abdicating the responsibility of the committee. The majority went further to be complicit in the president's attacks on the independence of the Justice Department, on the men and women of the FBI, on our intelligence community. So we also need to restore the relationship between our committee and the intelligence community and law enforcement. Look, at the time when we formally take control of the House, that won't be until January, and we'll have to see what Bob Mueller has been able to do and what Bob Mueller has been able to say, either via indictment or via report, and that will also guide what we intend to do in our committee.
A former national security official who worked for Democratic and Republican presidents reminded me today that legislation was never passed to protect Robert Mueller's investigation, making your work and your committee's work all the more important. What do you think the prospects are for Robert Mueller being allowed to complete his work, with Donald Trump maybe viewing tonight's results as some sort of endorsement of his presidency?
I think that the chances that Bob Mueller will be able to finish his work improved for the reason that our committee and others like the Government Reform Committee and the Judiciary Committee, which under Republican leadership served as basically surrogates for the president in their efforts to batter down the Justice Department, to give the president a pretext to fire people at the Justice Department. All of that tearing down of the independence of these institutions is going to end. Now, that doesn't mean that the president can't still act in ways that are antithetical to the rule of law and the interests of justice, but it does mean that we're better able to protect our institutions and see this investigation, I hope, complete.
Hey, Congressman, we're going to join Nancy Pelosi in progress. Just in the closing seconds before we do, I have a question for you about the integrity of our election system. How thorough and complete, in your mind, is Russian intervention into our government and our systems? Do you look at any numbers on a night like tonight and worry there are any shenanigans going on? Do you think we have integrity in all the numbers we've reported tonight?
Do you love me? Are you riding?
Well, I certainly hope that we have integrity in the numbers that you reported tonight. Honestly, as we've approached Election Day, my concerns over what the Russians were doing were less than my concerns over what the Secretary of State in Georgia was doing over the elections equipment in Texas, over what was going on in Nebraska, over what might have been self-inflicted wounds in terms of our election integrity, but as well the fact that so many states still, at this day and age, after what we've been through, do not have a paper trail, I think is just negligence on its face, and we're going to have to do far better than that in the future.
Congressman Adam Schiff, Chairman-elect Adam Schiff, thank you very much for joining us from Burbank, California tonight. We appreciate it. And on the left-hand side of the screen, we'll listen to this. This is, in effect, the management structure of the new House of Representatives on the Democratic side.
And California. DK Butterfield of North Carolina. Barbara Lee of California. You want to pick me up on Meeting Monday? Henry Cuellar of Texas. Karen Bass of California. Don Beyer of Virginia. And Brendan Boyle of Pennsylvania. Ooh, yeah! I'm thanking all of you. Many of you are our
Andrew, guess what I'm doing. Look.
Our volunteers in politics. The women and men who
what I'm doing. I'm in
mobilized
line.
in numbers, who saw what this GOP Congress was doing and refused to stand still. Every call you made, every door you knocked, every text you sent, every conversation you had made the difference between winning and losing in this election. Thanks to you, we owned the ground. Thanks to you.
Kiki, stop!
Thanks to you, tomorrow
Kiki,
will be a
stop!
new day in America.
Kiki, stop! Andrew, tell Kiki to stop!
Remember this feeling,
Kiki,
know
stop!
the power to win.
Kiki!
And almost all congratulations
Haley, stop!
to those denying
Haley, stop!
dynamic, diverse, incredible
Haley,
candidates
stop!
who have taken back the House for the American
Haley,
people. Let
stop!
us salute all of our candidates.
Guys, stop! I want breaking, not
Democrats and Republicans. It's about restoring the Constitution's checks and
Wait,
balances to the Trump administration.
I don't want to go to Michigan. Michigan,
It's about stopping the GOP and Mitch McConnell's assault on Medicare, Medicaid, the Affordable Care
I don't want to go. I want to become a Kiki Rush kid. Hey, Andrew, I don't want to grow up. I want to become a Kiki Rush kid.
It's about ending wealthy special interest free reign over Washington.
Hey, Andrew, you want to see who's gonna win?
Democratic majority will mean in the lives of
Nancy
hardworking Americans.
Pelosi?
Yay!
It's on the news.
That's what it's about. Democrats pledge a Congress
I hope it's not Donald Trump too, right?
Lower the cost of health care by lowering the cost of prescription drugs.
Donald Trump too. Donald Trump number 2.
Rebuilding the infrastructure of America. Clean up corruption to make Washington work for all
I hope it's
Americans.
Hillary Clinton.
We will take real, very, very strong legislative action to negotiate down the price control of prescription drugs that is burdening seniors and families across America. We will deliver a transformational investment in America's infrastructure to create more good-paying jobs, rebuilding our roads, bridges, schools, water systems, broadband networks, and schools and housing and beyond. We will drain the swamp of dark interest money. Americans have greater confidence in everything their Congress works on.
What?
From healthcare to taxes to guns to clean air to water for our children. When they know that the people's interest will prevail, not the dark special interest. And so, the GOP Congress, the Democratic Congress, will be led with transparency and openness, so that the public can see what's happening and how it affects them, and that they can weigh in with the members of Congress and with the President of the United States. We will have accountability, and we will strive for bipartisanship. With fairness on all sides. We will have a responsibility to find our common ground where we can, stand our ground where we can't, but we must try. We have a bipartisan marketplace of ideas that makes our democracy strong. A Democratic Congress will work for solutions that bring us together, because we have all had enough of division. American people want peace. They want results. They want us to work for positive results for their lives. Our founders believed in a principle that they knew must guide our nation. First, in our Declaration, they promised life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But they gave us guidance, e pluribus unum, from any one. The founders could never have imagined how vast our country would become, how many we would be, how different we would be from each other. But they knew we had to be one. Unity. Unity for our country. And that today the American people have spoken to restore that vision. With this new Democratic majority, we'll honor the vision of our founders.
No?
For a country having a legitimate debate, but remembering that we are one country. We'll honor the sacrifices of our men and women in uniform and their families who have made us the land of the free and the home of the brave. To build a better future worthy of their sacrifice. And we must honor and respect the aspirations of our children. Elections are about the future and what we do for our children's future. So thank you all for making the future better for all of America's children. God bless you. God bless America. Thank you all very much.
Suppose she could be referred to as Speaker-elect of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi of California. While I'm certain she didn't mean it this way, she just said, let's hear it for pre-existing medical conditions. That's a heck of a quote. Anywho, we'll rush to a break. We'll come back with more of our election returns as we cover this momentous night in American politics, still playing out from east to west to California.
Something's going on at Schwab. Oh, really? Thank you. Clients? Well, J.D. Power did just rank
the
them
next fucking one is the always gonna sit down and say, we're going this way. Alright, don't do that. Friends is to come and finalize their votes.
It's like having your cake.
We need to balance it, check and balance it. Well, we gonna pass it because we have
If you don't like your
51
answer,
votes.
ask again at Schwab. Schwab, a modern approach to wealth management.
And when he said, sit down and say, oh, well, I will make the 51 vote. But they can't do that no more.
Treasure Island. I need us to tell them first.
Because
The best. You're prepared to
the
save your country
Democrats,
in
the
a civil
Republicans
war.
either have to go with them or they can.
We'll die if we go back.
They have control of it, so
I would have liked to know more. Maybe I just don't know how.
75%. He will go.
At Wayfair.com, we think that when the big stuff ships free, it's just better.
Yeah, better. Oh, Wayfair has free shipping. Game changer. Fast better, free better, everything's better when it's free shipping.
Orders over $49.
Just what I need. At Fidelity, our online U.S. equity trades are just $4.95. So no matter what you trade, or where you trade, you'll only pay $4.95. Fidelity, open account today.
Juggling all the things we do is a challenge.
But hey, it's a fun challenge.
And our Tempur-Pedic helps us make it all work.
It gives us the best night's sleep ever. I recommend my Tempur-Pedic to everybody.
The most highly recommended bed in America just got better. Now more rejuvenating, more pressure relieving than ever before. There's no better time to experience the superior sleep of Tempur-Pedic. Save up to $500 on select adjustable mattress sets during our fall savings event. Visit TempurPedic.com to find your exclusive retailer today.
Unmistakable Cadillac XT4. Once again, driving
Oh,
is
no.
wonderful.
Oh, no.
Starting under $36,000.
I just hope people come out and vote, because I think for a long time, a lot of Americans were just like, who do you even vote for? It's all the same, right? Like, that's what people said about Trump and Hillary, remember? To be honest, it's all the same. Is it any different? And now it's like, oh yeah, it's different. It was like totally different.
No matter how much you clean, if your home still smells stuffy, that's because your home is filled with soft surfaces that travel and release them back into the room. Febreze fabric remover. Febreze finds odors trapped in fabrics and cleans them away as it dries. Use Febreze every time you tidy up to keep your whole house smelling fresh air clean. Fabric refresher even works for clothes you're going to wear another day. Make Febreze part of your clean routine for whole home freshness.
The midterm elections are finally here. Join us live as we break down the results as they happen, because tonight, the only person that matters is you, the American voter, and Putin. You and Putin.
The Daily Show with Trevor Noah. Tonight at 11 on Comedy Central.
Here's an important state, a tough state to figure out politically because it's several states in one, as so many of them are. But here is your new projected GOP senator from the great state of Missouri. We had an interview with Claire McCaskill earlier this evening. She knew she faced a tough road. This one's going to hurt the Democrats. They wanted it badly. Claire McCaskill is giving what amounts to a concession speech. Let's listen in.
He really has had to endure, especially in this campaign. You don't even know how nasty they were. It was terrible what they tried to do to him. And then look at this, huh? These are my siblings and my children and my stepchildren and a small part of my grandchildren. Many of them are too young to be up this late. So how can I look to the future and be anything but blessed, right? But I want to say my biggest thanks to the people of Missouri. The people of Missouri allowed me, beginning when I was 28 years old, to serve the public, to serve them, to be a public servant. And for decades, I have been blessed to get up every day and work in a challenging and interesting job, trying to make things better in people's lives. It has been such an honor, and this state drives me crazy, but I love every corner of it. I really do. I mean, I even love the reddest of the red counties, and there were a lot of them tonight. Because the people of this state are down to earth, and they're kind, and they are, well, they're like family to me. And so I feel like we've run a lot of elections together, Missouri and me. My record ends at 22-2. Not a bad record.
McCaskill, you heard her there, her record 22-2, but there on the left, John Hawley is your new Republican senator-elect from the great state of Missouri. I'm told Mr. Kornacki is ready to catch us up on some of the races we have not paid close attention to all evening.
Well, we got a squeaker in Wisconsin. Tony Evers, the Democrat, trying to unseat Scott Walker. Fourth shot Democrats have taken at Walker. A 12,000 vote lead for Evers because just in the last few minutes, a big batch of votes came in from Dane County. Think of Madison, University of Wisconsin, big Democratic bastion there. And now most of the vote is suddenly in Dane. This thing was separated by a couple hundred votes as of a few minutes ago with that big batch from Dane that just came in. About a 12,500 vote statewide lead for Tony Evers over Scott Walker. Not a lot of vote left. Where is the vote left? Probably the biggest single place. Brown County, about half the vote in. This is Green Bay and the surroundings. Scott Walker doing very well here, so you'll expect him to make up some of that here. He'll also in Barron County. This is a place where Donald Trump got about 60% of the vote in 2016. You can expect Walker to make up some there. Also, though, these are some smaller counties down here. Evers might do well here. One thing I've been looking for in Wisconsin, this state was home proportionally to the most, they called these things pivot counties in 2016. They voted for Obama 08, Obama 12, Trump 2016. There are 20 of them in Wisconsin, a lot of them right down in this corner of the state. And you can see Evers winning back. I think he's winning back about a half dozen of those pivot counties. So that's the development there in Wisconsin. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. And in Montana, John Tester trying to hold off Matt Rosendale. You see Tester leading right now statewide. Here's the thing I can quickly show you to go through this. Tester, of course, had a close re-election in 2012. In a lot of these key counties, if you just start looking at them, Flathead County, Republican County, but in 2012, when Tester won re-election, he only got 37% here. In this core Republican county, he's doing 8 points better. Remember, he won statewide, getting 37% of the vote here. And how about Lewis and Clark? You know, this is a Helena. This is a Democratic county. Tester got 54% of the vote here when he was narrowly re-elected in 2012. He's up to 62. We are seeing this all over the place here. He's running 7 or 8 points better in these key counties than he did when he narrowly won re-election. You see the designation we put on this. It is too early to call, but you see Tester out in front there in Montana.
So, Steve, can I just go? So there are 5 Democratic senators who are up for re-election tonight. They're not just from states that Trump held, but they're from states that Trump held by double digits in 2016.
Wait.
Heitkamp, Donnelly, Manchin, and Tester. So far, we know that McCaskill, Heitkamp, and Donnelly are all out. Manchin has definitely held on to his seat, and Tester, as you said, too early to call, but it looks like he's well situated compared to his previous election.
You would rather be Tester looking at the numbers I just showed you than Rosendale right now.
Okay, let me ask you about one other thing. You mentioned that squeaker of a governor's race in Wisconsin. Can we possibly go to Iowa?
Yes.
And look at the governor's race in Iowa? I've been watching these numbers come in, and that seems wicked close, too.
Yes, Kim Reynolds has just taken the lead here, and I have to catch up exactly where the vote is left to come in, but obviously Story County here, probably the biggest single gap we have on the board. Again, what is the margin statewide here? It is a 20,000 vote lead for Kim Reynolds, and again, about 10% to come here. I have to look closer to find out exactly where, if there's one party with an advantage there, but a 20,000 vote edge right now for Kim Reynolds.
Can I ask about one other governor's race?
Yes.
It is the excruciatingly slow-moving Georgia governor's race.
Yes. So let's it is a slow-moving race. Take a look here. Brian Kemp, I think the question right now, and you can see most of the vote in, the question right now with Kemp leading by 3 points, is he going to finish over 50% and avoid that runoff? And again, the guidance we're getting from our decision desk is they think he is more likely than not to do that, but they're not calling it just yet. But I do want to point out one other aspect of this Georgia governor's race I said to keep an eye on. Just take a look at Gwinnett County right here. Stacey Abrams right now winning this thing by 12 points. Just look at the modern voting history of Gwinnett County. Hillary Clinton, I said, first Democrat to ever win this thing in 2016. Romney got it by almost 10 points in 2012. McCain got it by 11 points, and it was bigger Republican margins before that. You see the trajectory here. Abrams now, this is one of the best Democratic performances really ever in this county. It is in a governor's race in the modern times. What that has done, that performance, I think, take a look at this in the House, the 7th district of Georgia. This is a Republican incumbent. Look at this. Carolyn Bordeaux, Democrat. All the vote is now in. She's 10,000 votes ahead in this race. It's because of that county I just showed you. It's because of Gwinnett County. 80% of this district, Gwinnett County, there's a rounding error, so it adds up a little bit more. But Bordeaux, you could say potentially here powered by that Stacey Abrams campaign in part, getting huge vote out of Gwinnett County, and it looks like on the verge of taking out Rob Woodall, Republican congressman.
Now, can we also see Georgia 6? Is that the race of Karen
That's right
Handle's
next
race?
door, yes. Now again, here's a squeaker. 800 votes, 100% is in right now. Karen Handel leading by 800. I'm just going to quickly see the three component counties here. This is, DeKalb. This is the Democratic base here. You're looking at about what Ossoff got out of there. Fulton County, in that special election they had last year, handled it a little bit better in Fulton County. This is about what she got. This looks very close to a repeat of that special election last year, with Handel not quite as strong in Fulton County and not quite as strong in Cobb County. But it looks like, and let's just see it, make sure it hasn't changed again, an 805 vote margin. Wow. Right there, right now. Karen Handel looks like barely. But again, that is the Democratic strength around Atlanta. The Republicans got their areas out in the rural areas, the ex-urban areas. That's why Kemp is leading in the governor's race. But the Democratic energy in the Atlanta area brought this thing 4 points closer, basically, than that special election we saw last year. And again, I think has Rob Woodall on the verge of defeat there in the 7th district.
That is remarkable. I mean, in that Lucy McBath, Karen Handel race, obviously Karen Handel, tons of name recognition, in part because of that competition in that special election. But also Lucy McBath coming out of really nowhere, first-time candidate, incredibly charismatic, getting it within 800 votes. Just an amazing story.
And Steve King just won.
Steve King in Iowa 4, absolutely. There are 2 seats that have flipped in Iowa, though, are there not?
So the first district, Rod Blum has been defeated. We've been keeping an eye here. 84% of the vote, I should say, in the 3rd district. David Young continues to trail 15,000 votes behind Republican incumbents. So if this holds, Steve King goes back to Washington as the only Republican who made it through 2016 in Iowa.
And Steve, one more. Nutmeg State, land of steady habits, recovering from a Democratic governor, one of the most unpopular in the country.
Yeah, and you can see right now, Ned Lamont, the Democratic nominee, trying to replace Dan Malloy. Dan Malloy had either some of the lowest or maybe even the lowest approval numbers of any governor in the country, a 35,000 vote gap. Now, if you're a Democrat, you're looking at this and you're saying, well, Hartford, there's no vote in from Hartford yet. These are not counties. These are individual cities and towns. That's how they do it in New England. Hartford, a city of about 115,000. No vote in from there yet. No vote as well in from Bridgeport yet, the 2 biggest cities. So that could give Lamont a boost. But, of course, it's always balanced. They're not big bursts of vote, but you've got all of these sort of outlying Republican areas, too, that are going to come in as well. So Stefanowski leading this thing by 35,000 votes. Of course, Ned Lamont, famously, it was 12 years ago. He challenged Joe Lieberman, the senator in a Democratic primary, defeated him in the primary, lost to Lieberman, who ran as an independent. Lamont took a shot at the governor's race, got the nomination, but 35,000 votes behind, about 2/3, a little more than 2/3 of the vote now in Connecticut.
And if that lead holds for Stefanowski in Connecticut, we could be talking about Republican governors in Connecticut and Vermont and in Massachusetts. So all of our stereotypes have gotten a little bit ugly.
Massachusetts is the state Connecticut lost General Electric to.
Massachusetts has Charlie Baker. I am convinced, as a Massachusetts resident, that he's as popular as sunshine, and I'm convinced the reason is because he doesn't seem at all like Trump, and people are just so excited to have a Republican in mind who has nothing to do with Trump.
There's a drama in every state. Nicole Wallace, what do you have your eyes on?
I think these governor races are, in some ways, they're more exciting and we're keeping an eye on them. But I keep coming back to the big political earthquake in Washington, D.C., that tomorrow morning Democrats will be figuring out how to run these committees. That, we have had a Trump presidency which has been norm busting and has debased the dialogue, and most people with kids don't let them turn on the TV when there's political talk on. All of that is unchanged. What changes is that there is now, Democrats will control all the committees that can investigate the other half of sort of the scandal that is the Trump presidency, and that's the rampant corruption. The rampant corruption of the agencies. This is the kinds of stories that you make time for, but a lot of us don't. And almost in every agency, there's been some sort of ethics scandal, and it gets scant media coverage, and it has no oversight in Congress. That'll change this tomorrow. Yeah.
Another thing is the control that the House has over all fiscal matters. Everything has to originate in the House. The president cannot have a new tax bill without Nancy Pelosi's approval, which is unlikely. Can't change the entitlement questions about Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Can't do any of that stuff that Mitch McConnell was talking about a few weeks ago. All is under the control now of Nancy Pelosi. It's powerful stuff.
Which leads me to believe that Donald Trump is going to be cutting some deals. He's going to cut some deals because he's at his heart and his core transactional. And we've already seen he doesn't have a problem, at least making those initial entrees to Nancy and Chuck. And now that Nancy has the gavel, the incentive to do that, particularly if he's concerned about legacy and wanting to get at least one big thing done before the 2020 election.
It's going to be an interesting test. I'm very glad you put that. I feel like we're at a sort of fork in the road, and it's not our decision. It's going to be Republicans' decision.
Yep.
Either this is Republicanism with a Trump twist on it, or this is Trumpism, which is built for fighting and not for governing.
Right.
And what we have seen thus far with him in power and with Republicans in control of both the House and the Senate and having no interest in checking him in any way is that since he's been there, he has used the power that he has as president to consolidate power in his own office, in himself singularly. He's disempowered the cabinet, disempowered all staffers, disempowered all expert advice that he might get from anybody, disempowered the Congress. They say what they want to do, and he just does his own thing anyway. He's consolidated power around himself. He, for the first time, will be checked by another entity that has real, not theoretical, not just media power. Does he crumble in the face of that? Does he see that as a way to just pick new fights? Or does he govern like a Republican might and seek deals? I don't know which way he'll go.
I think it's more deal orientation versus crumbling, because the one thing about crumbling, that's failure, and that's not a space he wants to occupy.
He doesn't enjoy confrontation. He's about to get some.
That's right.
But you know, it's so true what you said, and sharply put, because the Republicans have a problem with health care. They don't have a message. They get hurt on it this time. The House, I think the policy people would say we won the House, Democrats, because of their position on health care. He's got to get beyond this pre-existing condition thing. It was like we had a joke with a moment ago. And I think he also can do something on infrastructure. We got to work for the House Ways and Means Committee tonight, the staff. They're going to do something there. There's a lot of play here for him to get out of trouble. And maybe we'll get an immigration bill. That's the hardest one.
It just became Wednesday here on the East Coast. It is coming up on 12:03 a.m. For our friends out on the West Coast. The night is young. And here's the story. If you just came in on our conversation, this is what we're talking about. Control of the House of Representatives and all that means will be under the Democratic Party now. Here is our estimate that when all the smoke clears, what the House will look like, Dems versus GOP. The Senate is another story, and it's been kind of a quiet tidal wave tonight as we've watched major members of the Senate on the Democratic side fall, in addition to seats they landed badly. But here is the current count, and note the gray, as we've been saying all night, 51 confirmed, locked-in GOP. Of course, anything over 50, plus VP Mike Pence gives you the working majority, especially the way they've been voting. The Dems stand at 43.
And we've been watching a couple of these Senate seats unfold and watching the vote come in. It's been interesting to watch Montana. John Tester, one of those senators who is running in a state that was double digits for Trump. Montana was 20 points for Trump, and Tester's running there. Also in Arizona, it looks like we've got a tight race there in terms of the Senate. So, I mean, right now the Republicans are at the majority that they've got right now in the Senate. The question is whether or not they are going to build on that. It's not unheard of for parties to add seats in the Senate, even as they lose in the House in a midterm. Ronald Reagan went through that himself when he was at an unpopular point in his presidency in one of his midterms. But the remaining Senate races here that aren't yet called, Florida, Arizona, Maine, Nevada, Montana, these are going to be very important in terms of how much leeway McConnell's got to maneuver in the Senate and what happens in terms of the all-important confirmation fights.
And here was the heartbreaker for so many Democrats tonight. This is
Feinstein?
Speaking live.
Feinstein!
produced some really great
Ben
teams
Stein just won.
over the
Ben
years.
Stein just
And I'm very
won.
lucky that I got to be part
Ben
of one
Stein.
that came out of this community.
Ben Stein
And for
just
the
won.
last
Okay,
22
wait,
months,
his
I've been
interest.
traveling
Where does it
every
go?
single county of Texas,
You stupid
being there to
cornheads.
listen to and show up
Tails,
for every
go.
single one of us.
Heads
I'm
and
as
tails, go.
inspired, I'm as hopeful
Yay, we got
as I've
heads.
ever been in my life. And
Now let's do
tonight's
this.
loss does nothing to
There,
diminish the way
disappear.
that I feel about Texas
We now
and
need
this
to-
country.
Yeah, wait double
And to see all
cheeseburger.
of you tonight reminds me why we set out to do this in the first place. We're not about being against anybody, not about being against another political
We need to play
party.
some
We're not
Fortnite,
going to define
Fortnite,
ourselves
Fortnite,
by who
Fortnite.
or what we're against or afraid of or scared of.
Wait, Cruz? Who's Cruz?
We are great people, ambitious,
Wait,
defined
wait,
by our
wait.
aspirations,
Tiana?
the hard work
Tina?
that we're willing to commit
Tina Smith?
in order to achieve them. Every
Smith?
single one of us,
Smith? You gotta be seriously Smith?
Democrats, independents, from the biggest of cities, the
Oh,
smallest
better.
of towns,
It's
the
better.
people of Texas want to do and will do the great work of this country.
Oh, I guess I didn't go to Texas.
I just now
Alright.
had the opportunity
Mom,
to talk
I
to
need to
Senator
watch
Cruz
this.
and to congratulate him on his victory and to wish him well going forward. And what I said and what I pledged on behalf of all of us is that at this time of division,
On November
as polarized as I can
27,
remember it in my
2016.
life, all this bitterness that defines so much of the national conversation today, if there's anything that we can do to help him in his position of public trust, to ensure that Texas helps to lead this country in a way that brings us back together around the big things that we want to achieve, whether that's making sure we face any threats arrayed against this country,
Okay,
whether that means that we are
about to
there for
go.
every single one of us who needs a helping hand so that we can live to our full potential, the ability to see a doctor, go to the hospital, receive the medication that you need to be alive. I want to work with him. I will work with anyone to make sure that we can lead on that. You amazing public school educators who work so hard and do so much for so many of us. I'll work with him. I'll work with anyone, anytime, anywhere to make sure in the same way that you've been there for us, that now we can be there for you. Not as Democrats, not as Republicans, but as Texans, as Americans. I want to make sure, especially, that this community that raised me, made me who I am, where Amy and I are so lucky and fortunate enough to be raising our kids, Ulysses and Molly and Henry, who are here with us tonight, that we offer our experience and our perspective and our courage and our confidence on the issues that we know best as one half of the largest binational community anywhere in the Americas, joined with Ciudad Juarez to form something powerful, magical, and nothing to be afraid of or walled off or to apologize for. I want to make sure that this proud community offers all it has to give to this country and to our future, and to ensuring that our greatest days are still ahead, and that the policy that we craft and the laws that we write and the way in which we treat each other comes not out of fear, but comes out of confidence and strength and this kind heart that I've always known El Paso to have. I am I don't know any way to say this other than, El Paso, I love you so much. I am so proud of you and this city and this community and what you mean to the rest of this country. And what you have achieved tonight, along with so many other amazing people all across this state. The kindness and generosity that you have shown to me and to Amy, to our family, to our campaign is amazing. It's why my faith in this state and this people as a country is in no way diminished at this moment. I know that we will continue to work to come together, to make sure that we live up to the promise and the potential of this country. I know it because I've met you everywhere that you are. I've listened to you everywhere that you live. I want to thank tonight my family, beginning with Amy, who has borne the toughest burden. Raising our kids, supporting me, loving me, giving me strength and encouragement at every step of the way, making sure that we could finish this just as strong as we started it. I want to thank our kiddos. I want to thank my mom and my sisters and our family, all of whom are here tonight, for being such great examples to me. I love you guys. I want to thank this amazing campaign of people, not a dime from a single pack, all people, all the time, in every single part of Texas. All of you showing the country how you do this. I'm so fucking proud of you guys. And David and Jody and Chris and Cynthia and everyone who works on this campaign, every volunteer, every ambassador, everyone who knocked on doors, everyone who made phone calls, everyone who allowed themselves to hope and to believe, to be inspired by one another and to turn that into action and into votes and to do something that no one thought was possible. To build a campaign like this one, solely comprised of people from all walks of life, coming together, damning the differences, and deciding that what unites us is far stronger than the color of our skin, how many generations we can count ourselves an American, or whether we just got here yesterday, who we love, who we pray to, whether we pray at all, who we voted for last time. None of that small stuff matters now. It is the greatness to which we aspire and the work that we're willing to put into it to achieve it, by which we will be known going forward. And this campaign holds a very special place in the history of this country every day going forward. And you have made that possible.
Sorry about the F-bomb. We have no control over what's in the concession speeches of various candidates around the country. Quick call. While O'Rourke was speaking, we had a race decided in Iowa, gang. Here we go. There's our projection animation. This is Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds, the incumbent, returning. And Steve Kornacki tells us we've had two flips in the intervening moments.
Two more House races to tell you about. Illinois' 14th district, exurbs of Chicago. Romney won this district. Trump won this district. Republican Congressman Randy Holtgren failed to win this district tonight. Lauren Underwood defeating him. We're projecting she leads by less than 5,000 votes right now, but we're projecting her the winner. This will be a Democratic pickup in a district that Donald Trump won. Also, we said it looked like this was going to happen. We now say officially it has happened. Carolyn Bordeaux Colorado has unseated Rob Woodall in the 7th district. This was sort of a late arrival on everyone's list. They thought Georgia 6 would be where the action was. Turned out the 7th is the one that's flipped. And one more very quickly that's emerging right now is a story for people watching the House closely. Think of, this is the 1st district of South Carolina. Mark Sanford, remember, unseated in a Republican primary, ousted by Katie Arrington. Look at this, not a lot of vote left, and Katie Arrington has fallen behind by close to 4,000 votes there.
Wow, there are surprises in these house races. Everybody combing every house race in the country looking to see where there are these pickups. I had my eye on that Laura Underwood race because I felt like she was first-time candidate, incredibly charismatic, was really good.
No, Mom, you're blocking the camera.
Look. Was so down to earth. She worked her butt off. I still didn't. I was watching her race.
No.
All right, I don't want you to tap me into this thing.
No, I'm just being taken the news.
Working beneath the radar. They're doing their business. They're going door to door. They're really like they're running for city council, or something like that. And those races are the ones that sneak up on you oftentimes. It's one of the advantages we had going into 2010 with state legislative races, for example, where you get those pickups where no one's paying attention. And you got the candidate who fits the district, who's saying the right things. We saw it in Virginia earlier this year with the special electioneer where, the transgender individual who everybody was running against, hey, she did the job. She went out and said, I'm going to fix the roads and the streets, and she won. That's
You have 63 seats.
63 seats.
Yeah.
Pretty good work.
You get to live no matter what else you do in your life. That will always be dividing line with this chairman. And they will never give you credit for it, but we do.
Thank you.
In fact, they did not give you credit for it. Anyway, let's bring it around. The Democratic National Chairman, Tom Perez, and I, we've been talking, Tom, and thanks for coming on. We've been talking about trying to figure out what will the Democrats do with their new power, controlling the House of Representatives. You've got power over the purse strings of the federal budget. You control tax policy, basically, your party does. You control all entitlement spending. You can fix or leave alone Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. You can mess with, of course, Obamacare, if you will, or negotiate some reforms in it. What do you see as your party's? Is it probing, investigating, or legislating, or what mix?
It's going to be all of the above because
I'm not doing this math.
we're going to fight to protect people with pre-existing conditions.
All right.
We
So
have
far,
been
let's do
doing
it.
that since
Mom,
Obamacare, and we're going to continue to
You
do it.
just
We're going to fight to
simply
protect Social
just
Security,
follow the stupid
Medicare,
rule.
and Medicaid. I
Okay,
believe
so
we
the-
can work through
where
a
the-
bipartisan
Mom,
infrastructure
why
bill
didn't you
that
do
will
the
put
touch
people
back?
to work
That's
in
for you
good
to do,
jobs
not me.
that pay a middle-class wage
you did
and
it
can
on-
help repair our roads and bridges and our pipes
on
and
Monday,
all that.
at
And
the
those
morning.
are real
That's
jobs
for
that
you.
have
I
real
just
meaning.
help you.
We have to
So
work
I'm
with
not
the
doing it.
challenges
No.
of funding dreamers, and we're going to do it.
Alright,
And
people.
the
I'm ending this live
appropriations process, you correctly
stream.
point out, that's a really
Just that
important